Okay, everyone, welcome back to Budacast number 11 on this fine first week of August. We have a little bit of a different lineup today. Our editor-in-chief / president of the website, Matt Haywood, is not here today. He's on vacation with his family, lucky bastard. And our British friend, Jim 10 Bensons, is no longer around either. So today you have myself, Mr. Raymond Pareca, as your host, as well as our dear female companion, Anna. Say hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be back.
And we're happy to have her. And we have one of our newer staff members, Mr. Justin. Why don't you give everyone a hello?
Hello, long-time listener, first-time caller.
And with that, we start our 11th podcast. It's been a little bit, really, since we've had a full-on, fully staffed podcast. So I think we're going to do things a little bit differently this week. Going to kind of have a different introductory segment. I don't want to just jump right into the topics, mainly because I like talking with these people, and I think you guys will like listening to us talk about things. So that being said, let's just talk about our weeks. Justin, what's up? What's been new? What have you been doing?
Video games. Finally getting around to the free copy that I got for Pokemon X. Nice. Nintendo has been pretty gracious the last couple of months with giving some free downloads when you buy their games. So finally getting around to playing that. For a little retro flair, since we have a pretty big movie coming out next week, which people might have heard of, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, have been going back and playing the classic Nintendo game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That was one of my first video game system was I inherited like a neighbor's Nintendo, and one of like the many games in there was that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games. And I was super into the Turtles as a kid, as I'm sure pretty much everyone in my age group was. And I specifically remember being like 5, 6, maybe being like, what the hell is this game? Like, what am I playing right now? Still like perplexed by it, but I have not gone back and played it in years. So
that game,
how's it been?
That game's one of those where you play it as a kid and you make it to like the third level and you think you're the cat's pajamas. And then you go back and play it now and you just think, oh my God, Nintendo was so hard.
That's that seal of quality and difficulty, right?
Oh, I beat it like 5 years ago, and ever since I've been going back and playing it, I can't even make it like 3/4 of the way through.
There you have it, right? Yeah.
That's like me in Castlevania.
Oh, God.
I can make it to like the twin mummies, and after that, I'm like, game over. I'm done.
I was so happy when I beat Castlevania. I screamed.
What's your favorite Castlevania games? Just real quick, everyone.
Symphony of the Night.
Right. That's the correct answer.
Just had so much to offer.
I'm old school. NES, Castlevania.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm a big Soten fan, and I always liked the 2 PlayStation 2 ones. What was it? Lament of Innocence, and I can't remember the other one. They were like the 2.
Curse of Darkness.
Curse of Darkness. There you go. Yeah, they were a little weird in the context of like Castlevania as a franchise. But man, they are fun. I was just playing one the other day, actually. So, anything else for your week, Justin?
Not really. Comic book fans have a lot to look forward to next week, especially Superman fans, because they are coming out with three parts in the same week to the Superman Doomed storyline that's going on. So, plenty to keep the comic reader occupied.
So you're bracing for impact.
Yes.
And you, when Nick Hershey, if you listeners don't know, another one of our writers and Justin are very old, very good friends. And he was telling me the other day that you hit your local shop every Tuesday, is it right?
Every Wednesday, new comic book Wednesday. Yeah, me and Ray and Randy at my local store. We always definitely hobnob about the latest comics.
And that's why you support your local stores, everyone, right there. There it is.
Absolutely, I agree.
And speaking of which, Anna, anything for you? What's up?
Yeah, so I have been catching up on Hemlock Grove. Second season is on Netflix now. I've been catching up on Saga and The Walking Dead because I'm very far behind in that. And play-wise, I mean, I haven't really been playing all that much, just Titanfall because the new DLC came out.
How is that?
pretty awesome.
Good.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, I go on little tangents when I play, so I haven't even regened. So far behind on that. I don't particularly care anymore. I just go and I play and I have fun.
I still have not gotten around to playing Titanfall yet. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because obviously it was such a big deal when it came out. And yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I know I still have fun playing it, and I feel like a lot of people think like, oh, that all that there is. But if you really think about it, that's all that there is to a first-person shooter. It doesn't matter what
it nailed the core tenement of like the first-person shooter down. Certainly, yeah.
I mean, and at least now with all the little updates that they've done, at least you can hold more burn cards. You can actually have an insignia on your Titan. You can have 5 different loadouts, so it's cool. You can customize it for your different Titans, pilots, whatever you're in the mood to play. So it's cool. I mean, I like it.
Well, as long as you like it, then yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else, or what's up?
As far as, I mean, another thing that watched, but I'm pretty sure we'll touch on that later, is of course Guardians of the Galaxy. But
what is that? I've never heard of it. What?
It's this little movie set in space with like 5 outlaws, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I heard it made no money whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I think I was the only one that went to go see it, so I don't know.
Probably playing a couple of art houses or something.
Yeah,
probably like a niche film or something.
All right, well, thank you. I guess on my end, I've had a sort of weird week where it's probably been the least amount of video games I've played in a very long time. And I guess I don't really know why, actually, now that I think about it. But we've been busy website-wise, Entertainment Buddha. We've been putting out a shitload of posts, so I've been just trying to write as much as I can and make sure, everything's running smoothly. So like Anna said, I've saw this little movie called Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think there's a couple things we'll be talking about with it later. Otherwise, I've been reading a lot of comics. Justin coming onto our staff has kind of inspired me to start reading a lot of the things I definitely never would have before. So I thank you for that.
I'm sure you're making good use of that Marvel Unlimited sale that they had.
Oh, yeah.
It was 99 cents for an entire month subscription.
I feel like I've gotten $99 worth of stuff already. So I've been reading a lot, and then game-wise, I've been waiting for the PlayStation Plus stuff to come into the store so I can finally play that. And then otherwise, I've been playing Final Fantasy III because I never played that port that came out for the DS and then just came out for Steam and everything earlier this year. So I've been playing that, and then SpongeBob SquarePants, Battle for Bikini Bottom. Been going through that. It's a blast. If you have a GameCube, PS2, maybe Xbox, definitely worth picking up. It's the most like fun collectathon I've played in a long time. So kind of weird stuff for me this week, but I've been having a blast nonetheless.
The second you said that, I was like, what the hell is he talking about? And then you say GameCube. Oh, GameCube, right.
Yeah, that's what I picked up a GameCube probably 3 weeks ago from my friend. Because that's like the one system I have never owned. And as when I was a kid, I was like, I have a PlayStation 2. What the hell do I need a GameCube for?
Right.
And then ultimately, like now that I'm older, I've been like kind of looking back at what have I missed as like someone who prides himself on being, knowledgeable and played as much as I possibly can. I realized there's an entire library I neglected. So I bought a GameCube, and I've already bought like so many games for it. And it is truly a great system. It's a shame it didn't really have like the longevity that, the PlayStation 2 or anything else really had as its competitors. So,
well, did you go back and get any Dreamcast games? Because there's always, a couple of gems on every system, and even Dreamcast has
I still have my Dreamcast. I have not used it in some time, and the only thing I still own is Shenmue. Like that's as far as I need for that systems library. To me, it was like Shenmue and Crazy Taxi.
Oh, I only
have Shenmue. Yeah, and that's one day Sony. Hint, hint. Before I talk some smack on you later in this cast, like, hey, Shenmue 3, let's do it, please. And I get that's a good point to transition. Go on to kind of the news topics from the week. The video gaming world was relatively quiet this week. For those of you who weren't really keeping up with the day-to-day headlines, that being said, in its quietness, there were still definitely a few things worth talking about, most notably of all of them coming from Sony's camp. So we can kind of dive in from there. First of which being, it's August now. Thank God, summer's almost over. I'm not a big summer person, so I have to go out and say that in advance. All of you people that love the sun and the fun and the what have yous, sorry, summer, not my thing. I'm a big fall guy.
It's always summer in Florida. It's always fun in the
okay.
sun.
So Anna excluded. Maybe there's some people that like their seasons and what have you. Justin, we've actually had a nice summer, all things considered.
Well, it's funny that Anna brings that up because I've been going back and watching Dexter from the start, and he's always so sweaty. That's the only thing I ever noticed is he's always sweating.
He's got the Everglades glow.
I'm telling you, at 9:00 in the morning on a Saturday, walking the dogs, I'm out there for like 10 minutes max. I feel like I've been out there for an hour. I mean, just the humidity, it's just disgusting. And not to get too girly, but humidity does nothing for my hair, does nothing for my skin. It's gross. I hate it. I'm ready for the summer to be over. It's disgusting.
I feel better now that I'm not the only one that's not a big summer fan.
No.
What kind of dogs do you have, by the way?
I have a Basset Hound and a Puggle.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so they are both, they both lead with their noses.
Yes.
And they can get quite mouthy, but they're my babies and I love them nonetheless.
What are their names?
My Basset Hound is Jello. Because her ears jiggle like Jello.
That's so good.
And the Puggle is Miles, named after Miles Davis.
That was going to be my next question. So
is a Puggle a non-magic dog?
Yeah, non-magic dog. Dog, not Doug. Yeah, he is half pug, half beagle. So he looks like a beagle, but he's got the curved tail of a pug and he's the color of a pug.
Oh,
so he's kind of got the best of both worlds.
Does he snort like a pug?
Sometimes. It's adorable.
So we're gonna actually change our entire theme now. We're just gonna be the entertainment puppy cast. I think might be the new way we go.
The dogs or the animals of Entertainment Buddha.
Yeah, there you go. Justin, are you an animal or pet owner?
I am. I have one handsome tomcat named Chino.
Okay, I'm not a big cat person, but I'm allergic, so I think I'm biased to begin with.
Yeah, that'll do it. And he was in heaven the other night because we spent the evening eating junk food and checking out the Ninja Turtles old cartoon.
There you go. Yeah, that's if cat or human, it sounds like an ideal evening. Well, hey, all right. Now that we've talked about pets and what have you, I have 2 dogs. I'm not even going to talk about them later or now. I guess we're going to keep going. So yeah, it is August. And that means for people who are subscribers to Sony's PlayStation Plus service, there's a whole bunch of games coming this week, or I guess August 5th. So next week, probably this week by the time you guys actually listen to this. Have you guys looked at the lineup at all, what you're getting? Are you guys subscribers to PlayStation Plus even?
I am, but I didn't see anything that really piqued my interest.
Right.
I barely use my PS3. I barely even use the PS4 now. I don't even touch my Vita, so I don't even see what's the point in trying to download anything.
Yeah. Don't even kid yourself because you won't use it inevitably, right? Justin, what about you?
No, I am not a PlayStation Plus subscriber. Truth be told, my flavor of the last month is still Mario Kart.
Mario Kart 8, right?
Yep.
There we go. And now, do you play that mainly online? Or are you playing local with people or what?
So far, it's mostly just playing online.
Okay. So
yeah,
I haven't played a Mario Kart in forever, so I'm not like, it doesn't almost make sense in my brain. Like, you can play that game online with people. Like, I'm used to just sitting there with my friends, you know? So
even Double Dash, they had some online capability.
And there you go. That's how ignorant I am to Mario Kart as a whole.
Yeah. If I try to play Mario Kart online, I get my ass handed to me. Like, I think I'm phenomenal when I'm playing by myself or I'm playing with my friends. I'm like, I got this. And then I go online. I'm like, nope, no, I don't. I don't got this at all.
maybe we're just not as good as maybe we're not as good at games as we thought we might be.
Yeah.
Guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
just
what it is.
just kidding. Never admit that.
Nope.
They can't prove it unless they actually see it happen. So if you're playing Anna online, just pretend she won, guys. Do us a favor.
Yep. Just be nice to me once.
Well, so I guess since my fellow hosts are not too caught up with the PlayStation Plus stuff, I'll go over it super quickly. For those of you who don't know, PlayStation Plus is Sony's way of saying, pay me a decent amount of money and you get, free stuff every month. So this August, there are actually a decent amount of games, more so than normal, I want to say, coming out. PlayStation 4 members are getting Road Not Taken, which isn't even out yet. I believe it comes out on the 5th and becomes immediately available for the PlayStation Plus members that day. Additionally, PlayStation 4 is getting Fez, which I'm not going to delve into. There's a lot that could be said about that game, and I'd like to not get angry and burst a blood vessel talking about Fez and all that kind of stuff with it. Moving right along, PlayStation 3 gets Crysis 3, which I'm not a giant fan of the franchise, but I know is a pretty damn enjoyable game, as well as Proteus, which indie game, super weird, super cool. You're kind of wandering around in this randomly generated dream world where there's weird shit going on all over the place. That's a cool game. You can get it on Steam and things like that too. So it's even worth checking out if you just kind of want to trip out for a little bit. And then last but not least, there is that little handheld called the PlayStation Vita, which is getting a game called Metrica, which is kind of cool. It's a 2D platformer, but it's based off of like statistics and spreadsheets and what have you. So like you're kind of platforming across these charts and pie graphs and what have you. And the game changes sort of dynamically based off of statistical information that you as the player are not privy to. So it's kind of interesting in the fact that it's A, based off of like shit you do in Excel, and B, you don't really know how it's going to affect the gameplay. So that might be worth checking out. And then last but not least, Dragon's Crown is coming to the Vita as well as PlayStation 3 for those of, for like a cross-buy thing. And that's the one game this month that I'm super excited about. I do not have my PlayStation 3 with me right now. It's actually on loan to a friend, but I already texted him and said the second, the PlayStation Plus stuff comes through, you are logging into my account, you are downloading Dragon's Crown, because I've wanted to play that game since the day it came out and I have not gotten to yet. I don't know if any of those games sounded interesting. I kind of tried to go over them real quick, guys. Any thoughts, anything?
Nah, I'm still passing. Nah. Well, I mean, I have Crysis 3 for the 360.
Okay. So what did you think of it then?
I haven't played it.
Oh, well, there you go.
Again, listen, I can't even get into my backlog because I would be shamed for life for being a gamer. People would be like, you're not even a gamer if you haven't played that. So, yeah.
Justin, nothing?
Do they also have like added perks for PlayStation Plus, like downloadable content?
Yeah.
The extra DLC stuff?
Generally, like, it kind of segues into what I was going to say about like AAA games that come on to PlayStation Plus. It's generally always a game that's been out for a little bit of time. So price-wise, it's already gone down and it's kind of just like, hey, here you go. Thanks. Here's a game you might not have played yet. A lot of times they do the DLC associated with a game for the month, but also the PlayStation Plus members tend to get a pretty good discount on a lot of things within the actual PlayStation Store. So
I was just going to say that. I know that PlayStation is super, super awesome for discounts varying each month. So you can get any, given game, like a good game for like $4, $5. So that's the benefit of being PlayStation Plus, along with whatever you can get for free on any various system each month. Yeah. That's kind of nice. Having that. I mean, it's $50 a year and you can basically make that back at any within like 2 months, 2 or 3 months, depending on what
especially
you get.
if you have multiple, Sony consoles or handheld included, like you get a lot of stuff worth it. Sometimes I think it might not be worth it, especially now that I'm pretty much just using my PS4. I don't think a lot of the games that have been, the PS4 PlayStation Plus games lately have been necessarily worth the price of admission. Like Strider was last month, which was awesome, but like Towerfall Ascension was the other game. I don't really care too much for that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, I guess, now that, the PlayStation 4 is still relatively new kid on the block. Like I wish that like I could get a good port of a AAA title here or there so I could actually use my PlayStation 4 more than I currently do.
Yeah, that's been my thing too. With the PS4, I got Black Flag for it because of the extra mission for Ottawali, but I haven't even finished that. I got Infamous Second Son. I haven't even played it, and then Watch Dogs. I haven't even finished playing because number one, Watch Dogs, the story did not. If I'm playing and like within 5 minutes, I'm not hooked. I'm pretty sure.
What's the point?
I'm not coming
point,
back
right?
to it. Yeah. But that's been. I mean, and the same can go for the Xbox One, but with the PlayStation 4, that's been my thing. There hasn't really been a lot to get, but that's all going to change in 2015.
Yeah, and that's almost the shame of the matter. It's like I rant and rave, like I just want to use this beautiful system. Why can't I play anything right now that I want? And at the same time, it's like, dude, just chill the F out and wait 2 months. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff coming. We have more Sony news really to talk about, and this has been kind of the one thing that's grinded my gears, and I think a lot of the video game world's gears, collective gears, if you will, in the last few days is the open beta launch of PlayStation Now, which for listeners who might not be aware of what it is, it's pretty much a rental service where Sony is, you pay X amount of dollars for rentals of games that have already come out. And the main problem that I've encountered, I wrote a relatively kind of scathing thing about the other day, is the pricing. The ends do not justify the means to me in terms of the pricing. Do you guys, anyone want to jump in real quick before we get too in depth about it, or your thoughts?
I did get to read it, and it is a really good post. I mean, you guys really need to check it out because there are valid points to it, and one being, so okay, let's say you traded in your PS3 because you wanted to get a PS4, but you still want to be able to play those PS3 games, but we already know PS4 isn't supporting that. So you do PlayStation Now, but for $4, you're going to rent a game for 4 hours? That's not enough time for me to really make a decision on, well, do I really want to play it? And then for like $3 more, you can rent it for, what was it, a week or something?
I think, it's like 7 days, 30 days, and 90 days.
Yep. Yeah, and then if it's a game that came out 4 years ago, they want you to pay like, I don't know, $25 or $30 or whatever to own it. I know it's not worth $30. I'm not going to pay that to own it. The memory's already limited on my PlayStation 4. I'm not going to bog it down with that. I mean, if a game is not, in my opinion, worth it, I'm not going to do it. I just, and for those who don't even have the time, I'm still not going to pay $8 to have a game sitting on a console for 7 days or 30 days in hopes that I remember it's there for me to go back and play. To me, I'm just going to be throwing away my money, and my money is precious, and I can spend it on other things.
On your dogs.
Oh my, no, I don't even spend it. I don't even spend them on my dogs. Dog food, dog shampoo. If I got to take them to the vet, that's it. But I mean, I can spend it on something else. But PlayStation Now is, I don't think it's anything that I'm gonna do. I did have a question though. Is it a separate subscription service, or is it available through your PlayStation Plus membership?
Right now, actually, and that actually is one of the big not arguments, but like one thing I think could be worked on is you can just go right into the PlayStation Store right now and just go to the PlayStation Now section and just, pick whatever you want and rent it for however long you want. And I think that is where the biggest problem with it is the simple fact that why would I pay these? Like I made the point in the article, it's like you could get Metal Gear Solid 4 for, I think it was like $15 or $20 or something. No, I'm sorry. You can get a 4-hour trial of Metal Gear Solid 4 for $5, or you could just drive 5 miles to your nearest GameStop or whatever and buy it for $7. Right. So that, I think if Sony were to be smart about it, they would institute a thing maybe like the PlayStation Plus, where it's like, hey, for $50 a year, you get unlimited or X amount of rentals per month. I think that would be genius. At that point, I'd be like, hell yeah, why wouldn't I rent, this random game I kind of wanted to play? But yeah, Justin, anything from you on that?
I mean, of all the options, I feel like the 30 days doesn't give me a red rump, because if you know of a game that you want to play, but you're probably never going to come back to, you could say, oh, I want to play Castlevania Lords of Shadow. I'll pay $12, play through the whole thing, enjoy it for 30 days, and then I'll never have to worry about it again. But I mean, like the 4 hours for $4, this is what grinds my gears. Why are there never demos available for almost every game? There's a lot of games that I'd love to take a flyer on, but just let me play the damn game for like 20 minutes and just get a feel for it. Because I don't want to spend, if it's a new game, I don't want to spend $60 and in the odd chance that I really don't like it. But I mean, as you said, there are a lot of games, especially older games. I'm really not going to utilize this service because I can go to a GameStop and get a used copy for a couple of bucks instead of having to pay, say, at the minimum $7 for 7 days. Right.
And you're right in the fact with the you mentioned that actually the other day when we were all talking, like that maybe that's a smart way to segue. It's like, hey, if you want to play this for 4 hours, you're going to spend $5 or something, which I think is stupid, especially because you're streaming from Sony. It's not like, here's my $5, I'm going to download this file and then play it whenever I want for 4 hours. You're paying for it, and then you start streaming the game. Sony says it, kind of in their, their little heads up kind of thing, and says like, hey, I recommend you have 50, megabyte download speeds while you're on a wired connection. Like, not that people don't have that, but I think the vast majority of people aren't sitting there like, hell yeah, I have super fast internet, I can totally stream this game. So it's stupid to say if you want to try a game out for a couple hours, you need to A, pay me $5, $6, $7, B, have a substantial internet connection, and C, you best pray it's not storming, cloudy, windy, etc. to screw up your connection.
That's one other thing I was going to say. So, okay, so you want us to pay XYZ, and then, okay, we have to have this kind of internet. Internet nowadays is not cheap, and it costs an arm and a leg to have decent internet. So you want to make this online streaming service kind of like a Netflix for games, but sometimes you have to look at the market of your consumer and really think, well, on average, are people paying for the best service that they can with their internet provider? Does their internet provider even provide that kind of speed? So, I mean, all around, it's kind of, you're taking a gamble, You're
right. And I guess many people were quick to point out to me in our comments, like it is a beta thing, which I understand, but by the same token, why the hell are you charging me money for a beta? I didn't play Destiny 2 weeks ago and be like, oh, I want to level up, I need to pay $5. It's
right.
So that's kind of a weird thing, and I'm sure we could harp on it forever, but I think the PlayStation Now it's a genius idea in theory. And in practice, as to quote what I wrote about it, it feels like highway robbery to me. It really does.
Is there any reason for the 4 hour selection other than just to try the game? Why not make
I don't know, because it feels like such an arbitrary amount of time.
Why couldn't you just make it, 1 hour for $1? If it was $1 for an hour, I would probably
pay that a lot, I'd bet.
Right.
Like, I'd be like, hell yeah, why not?
Right.
Yeah.
It's $1. I'll just play the game for an hour, get the feel for it, and then you might be more
yeah.
you might be more likely to just say, you know what, I'm already here, I'm already streaming it, I'll pay the $7, $12, or $25 just to get it for a while.
No, that actually would probably be the best way to kind of upcharge, almost, if you will, is say like, hey, for $1 you can play this. Ooh, you like it? Hey, pay me $10 more and you can have it for a month, kind of thing. So, I don't know. I think it's kind of the bullshit how it is right now, and hopefully they change it. Apparently, Sony is not the one setting the price; it's the actual game's publisher. But by the same token, Sony does have to be the one to sign off on that. So they are essentially agreeing to said prices. So all you people that left me angry comments about stuff like that, I did do my research. I am aware of that. It's just a matter of the publisher doesn't say, hey, Sony, screw you. It's $12 for 3 days. Like, F off. That's what we're doing. So whatever, moving on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yes.
And they want to make money. So they're going to find a way to get their money. So it's just crappy that, sometimes as the consumer, I mean, we can say everything that we want to say, but they see dollar signs.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. You're 100% correct.
Well, even the fact that what Anna brought up, that it's a streaming
Miles,
game.
stop
it. See, Miles is pissed off too.
Sorry, I muted my.
Miles doesn't want to pay $4 to play the game for 4 hours.
You heard it here first. Even dogs don't like PlayStation Now.
But you're playing these, these high density information games. Are they really going to be able to keep this up if the traffic gets, a really high point where everybody starts playing this PlayStation Now?
I would venture to say no. You look at even Destiny's beta that screwed over both Sony and Microsoft's, servers at the time. So that's a good point I didn't even think about, and that's because I don't know.
I mean, oh boy, I'm really going to date myself now, but way back when there was a service like this for the Sega Genesis, it was called Sega Channel, and essentially you had a selection of, I think it was 30 to 40 games each month, and it would basically ROM dump, so it would just download the entire game into this huge converter that you had into your Sega, and you'd be able to play the game. So you pay, $20 a month, and you have 30 games at your disposal, and it's not like the game is constantly streaming back and forth. It just completely dumps the information into this little converter game that you plug into your Sega, and that's it. It's not, these PlayStation games are on Blu-ray discs. So it's a lot of, I don't know. I just feel like that's going to be trouble.
So I think that something's going to be trouble or whatever. That sums up kind of the whole thing. It's almost like something feels strange about this service at this point. While we're still talking about game-related stuff, real quick, I don't want to harp too much on this PlayStation Now thing, lest Sony come to my house and take me away in the middle of the night. Last of Us Remastered came out. I don't know. Did either of you guys play it?
I played it on PS3.
Right. Okay.
I haven't even finished. I got through the first 20 minutes, and it's a really good story. I'm hooked, but I forgot about it.
Right. All right. Well, then you know what we say to that. This is the last of our discussion on The Last of Us, I guess. Then, so
yes.
We can move on. While we're still talking about game stuff, is anything or anyone have anything else that they think was important to talk about this week?
But even these reskinning game tactics where they upgrade it from a PS3 to a PS4, I mean, would you be enticed to buy, your favorite PS3 game that's been slightly up for graphics?
No, I personally would not. I still I keep all of my systems and stuff as long as I can, so I don't see the point to it.
Right, I'm with Ray on that. We still have our GameCube, our, Xbox, PlayStation 2. We have a majority of every console that's ever come out. The only thing that I'm really excited about as far as remastered anything goes is the Halo, the Master Chief Collection.
And you're right to be excited, I think, at that point.
I'm really excited about that because I feel like for its time, the type of game that Halo was, yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, it just kind of introduced story with redefining first-person shooter. But I think those types of games are perfect for our time now, just based on what they are. And even Halo Combat being remastered last year, I did get that and had fun playing that all over again. And I know I'm going to have so much fun playing Halo 2 remastered all over again because Halo 2 is what eventually really got me into gaming. I was always a gamer, but Halo, I mean, has a very special place in my heart because of what it did and how it brought me and my friends closer together. I mean, we were bringing TVs over to each other's houses, and you remember the TVs back when it was 10 years ago, big box TVs. So those things
big
were not
CRTs,
yeah, they were not light to carry, and just sitting down and playing for hours and, you know, playing the campaign. So I'm excited for this for multiple reasons, but I can't wait. I mean, and I've seen some of what the cutscenes look like. I haven't actually seen any playback video because I'm just that excited. I want to wait till November.
And I've said in a few different casts, I'm not a gigantic Halo fan by any means. I've always had fun playing it with my friends, etc. But everything I've seen of that Master Chief Collection, I'm like, holy shit.
I mean,
shout outs to 343. They are doing something special.
Yeah, and for $60, I mean, you are getting your money's worth. You're getting four games. And not only that, but they are bringing Halo 2 multiplayer back. And I mean, those were some of the craziest maps to ever play on to begin with.
It's genre defining in many ways. It's the modern genre defining game, I'd say.
Yeah, it's like what GoldenEye was.
Like GoldenEye. That's what I always think of.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a huge deal. And as you know, when it comes to remastering games, I feel like if it's done for the right reason, not because it's a trend and not because it's what the cool kids are doing. I mean, people will go out and spend the money, but just to do it, I mean, it just seems kind of dumb. I mean, I don't know. Even with Tomb Raider, I played Tomb Raider. I absolutely love the game. I did go out and get the remastered one, and I got it from my Xbox One, and I started playing it again, and I'm like, I don't really see anything all that different. I feel like I just wasted my money, and I'm not going to trade it into GameStop because I'm not going to get my money's worth.
Well, that's what I mean with PS3 to PS4. I really don't see like there's much of a difference. The one that I just can think of that I really wanted to go out of my way for was when they reskinned Metal Gear Solid onto the GameCube for the Twin Snakes release, and they added. But I mean, as well as the graphics, they also added a lot of the gameplay mechanics from Metal Gear Solid 2. So they had the first person shooting. But I mean, there you can easily tell a difference going from PS1 to, say, a GameCube. But I don't feel like there's a lot of difference between a PS3 and a PS4. I mean, there is, but I don't know that it's $60 worth of incentive.
Yeah, it's not significant. It's really not, and that's why I won't get The Last of Us remastered. I mean, I have it on PS3. I just have to get back to playing it. I mean, our TVs are good. They display high definition, so I'm good there. If I was getting now, if I didn't have a PS3 and I was getting a PS4 for the first time, and I would pick up the remastered version. Why not? I didn't own it on PS3. I would definitely do it that way, but not like this.
Hello. Sorry, guys. For all you listeners, I had to go to the bathroom. I'm not going to lie. We don't do these podcasts together. We live all across the country from one another. And sometimes you just got to you have to admit your own failings. And I failed. I had to pee during it. So What did I miss? I heard last thing I heard was Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. I think it was, right.
Anna and I just both kind of agree that there's no reason to go for the remastered or upgraded versions for games that were originally on PlayStation 3.
There you go. All right. So sorry about that, listeners. That's probably really awkward to hear someone you've never met talk about having to go to the bathroom.
You're just still steaming after PlayStation Now.
Yeah, I had to pee the anger out, guys. So I guess let's move on forward. As hasn't been the biggest gaming week, but my God, it was a pretty decent week for the movie world.
Oh, yeah. Mainly
because of this event called San Diego Comic-Con, right? Justin, that's kind of your area of expertise.
Yeah. I don't know. Comic-Con's always kind of a weird mix because in a way it gives you things to be excited for. I mean, we already know that there's going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy sequel. Sometimes Marvel and DC kind of, give little teasers, especially for the Batman versus Superman movie. But some things, I don't know. I just like the air of mystery a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, there were some good things to come out from Comic-Con. I mean, I was able to see the leaked footage for Batman versus Superman. And it was cool. I mean, it doesn't really give anything away, but it'll definitely be exciting to see what happens. I know some people are still up in arms because Man of Steel was close to 3 hours, and it still wasn't any better than Batman Returns. But it was definitely a different approach to Superman. I think because of Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, I feel like maybe DC has to kind of take this darker, grittier approach to some of the superheroes. And I mean, within reason, some of them, it's fair and it's okay to do that. But I mean, I never really thought of Superman as like a dark guy.
And nothing says dark and brooding like Ben Affleck. That's my thought.
Well, seeing that picture of him, like that profile picture up close of him in the mask, I'm like, holy shit. Wow. Like, I'm freaking excited for this. I mean, because he looks like Batman.
You're right. I was making a bad joke, and the fact that I think I said on the first cast we ever did, like, I am stoked on Ben Affleck as Batman. I will go to my deathbed telling everyone I'm a giant Affleck fan. I love him as an actor. I love him as a writer and a director. And I think that's probably because my childhood and early teenage years were spent watching all of Kevin Smith's movies. So maybe my view is a little askewed, if you will.
Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms.
Yeah, Affleck, he was the bomb in Phantoms, yo.
Yeah.
And Daredevil.
Yeah. Yeah, Kevin Smith, I hope you're listening. But no, I don't know. I like Ben Affleck. I think, whether he's the Cape Crusader or he's playing some guy in a movie, he always does well. And I think it's going to be a good film regardless, really. That's my main thought with that. And it's one of those things, I'll pay money to see it regardless type thing,
Yeah.
Why not at that point?
I mean, that was a great clip. I loved the clip. I mean, you can tell everybody there was absolutely batshit for that couple of seconds that we saw of the two. As far as Ben Affleck, it's one of those things that I think everybody who's ever been cast as Batman has been kind of met with this venomous reaction. Like Michael Keaton, everybody thought that Batman was going to be campy like the old TV series. I'm sure Christian Bale people weren't super excited about. So everybody else, I'm just kind of giving this, apathetic attitude. Just let them show that they can play the character.
Yeah,
so
let the actor do their job.
Right. Let them have their fair shake.
Anything else movie-wise coming out of Comic-Con? I know there are a few different things they showed off.
Well, one of the strangest rumors that I've heard, wink, wink, Joaquin Phoenix is the front runner to play Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that should be. And I mean, well, he's kind of quirky and strange enough as it is, and he looks like Doctor Strange. So it wouldn't be, and it wouldn't be a bad choice. I'm not too familiar with Doctor Strange, so I can't say a whole lot other than he looks like him. But that would be exciting. I mean, we already know Marvel is definitely not holding back when it comes to everything that they've created, since Iron Man. So I'm sure one way or another he'll make his way in there.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Doctor Strange is one of those kind of those characters that sort of has a cult following ever since the character was created. And as far as Joaquin Phoenix, when I first heard it, it was a little strange, but just like with Ben Affleck, I'll just give him a fair shake. Just let him kind of do his thing. Just see his performance before I make an informed decision.
Yeah.
I know nothing. I didn't even know he was kind of the rumored guy for that. I happen to really like Joaquin Phoenix. I don't know why. There's something about him that I've always enjoyed everything I see him in.
Well, you always like the more obscure things. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that you are a fan of him.
Rest in peace. I loved River as well. Stand By Me is my defining movie kind of ever. And, he stole the show in that. And I think Joaquin just is this super great mix of like weird but talented, and he has that stare, that like $10 million stare where he sees through you kind of thing. And I like that. I don't know. I feel like it might work.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see other things to talk about movie-wise. I wrote this in our agenda today. I don't know if you guys have seen it, and we kind of mentioned Kevin Smith a minute ago, but at Comic-Con during Kevin Smith's little panel, he unveiled the official trailer for his latest movie, Tusk. Did either of you guys happen to see that trailer?
I did.
What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've always been a fan of Kevin Smith. I mean, Chasing Amy is probably one of my all-time favorite movies, and Dogma are my two like favorite movies. And so there's always this way that he has of storytelling, and I don't think he's ever really done anything like this, so it'll be interesting to see how it takes on the horror genre with this, because I mean, a walrus doesn't look all that menacing, but we'll see how that plays out. And I mean, it has Justin Long, so I mean, I'm a fan of Justin Long.
Well, that was my first reaction. I saw the trailer and I thought, okay, that looks like a pretty interesting movie. And then that Kevin Smith does, and it's just kind of like, okay. And like you said, Anna, I'm curious to see how he does something that's not kind of this witty banter back and forth, or something that's a little like Chasing Amy. It doesn't seem like it's in his wheelhouse. So it's just be interesting to see how he does with it.
Yeah.
To me, as I previously said, I'm a gigantic Kevin Smith fan, and I think that's what's so exciting about this movie to me, is that you're like, wait, Tusk is this movie about a dude trying to turn another dude into a walrus? Like, what? Kevin Smith wrote and directed it? Like, what the hell? You start scratching your head. Then you see the trailer and you're like, this, like, you're immediately engaged as far as I'm concerned. Like, it looks like this, kind of brooding horror thriller type of thing. And Haley Joel Osment's in it, which is cool too. Like, there's a career booster maybe. I think it comes out September too, which is exciting. It's like right around the corner, really, if you think about it. I think it looks great. Personally, I could, fan out a little bit more, but I'll keep it close.
Have you ever read any comic books that he's written? I mean, he's done.
I have not. No.
He's done stuff for Green Arrow, Batman, Daredevil.
Yeah, I know he does a lot of writing. Like, he's obviously writes a lot of stuff. I've never read anything he's done though, outside of like his book he's written about himself. So
I mean, and the comic books will probably be a little closer to what Tusk would be in that it's not this, kind of this dramedy. It's more something a little more action oriented, a little more of a thriller, especially stuff with Batman, Green Arrow.
I listened to Kevin Smith's Smodcast, and the most recent episode was his panel from Comic-Con, and he sort of talked about the origin of why the hell are you making this movie, Kevin? And I guess it actually is based off of this Craigslist post that he read about some dude who said, you can come live with me for free and get free food and yada yada, as long as you dress up like a walrus. And I guess Kevin thought it was the strangest idea, that it's slowly the wheel starts turning, and he hasn't made a movie in a little bit. And he says what, I want to see that movie. Why isn't someone making that? And then he goes, well, what the hell? Why don't I make it? Starts writing it and realizes it's not a Kevin Smith movie. And maybe that's why it's working so well. So I think it's interesting. It seems so strange that I will have to love it. As Anna said, I like all the weird stuff. So September 19th, I want to say, or something like that, is when it comes out. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, even the trailer itself,
it's great. It's cut really well, right?
If Kevin Smith wasn't attached to it, I'd still look at it and I'd say, yeah, I'd want to go see that.
Yeah, they've done a tremendous job from everything I've seen. Other movie stuff before we talk about the looming Star-Lord hanging above all of our heads. The Comic-Con little preview of Mad Max Fury Road came out.
That looks fucking sane. I mean, balls to the wall, nut. I cannot wait for that.
Justin, how do you feel?
I saw it, and then immediately after I thought, you know what? Mad Max is probably one of those movies that's due for... I mean, is this a reboot, or is this a just another
it's
chapter?
A reboot of the original films, yeah.
Because if you think of the original ones, I mean, if anything, the originals would have probably been cooler stunts, or maybe CGI. I mean, the story's pretty basic. So now it's
Mad Max as a trilogy is as bare bones as it gets in terms of writing. You're right,
right, and especially with what they can do after the things that they did in the Fast and the Furious series and all the CGI they can do. I mean, if anything, this should just be action filled and just explosions and car chases and all that stuff.
I wholeheartedly agree. And that's why my opinion on the film, based off of that trailer and some of the things I've been reading, is kind of the opposite. Where, as I told Hershey, I might be the biggest Mad Max fan I know, or I am the biggest one I know. That as a trilogy it's my three favorite movies as a trilogy. The Road Warrior, if you wrote just The Road Warrior on my tombstone when I die, I would be a happy ghost. Love them to death. And my dream as a writer was I wanted to be the guy who rebooted or adapted Mad Max to modern cinema. That's what I've always wanted to do. So when I found out they were doing Fury Road, I was like, God damn it. I wanted to do that. So I think it's a little bit of personal bias that I'm not super excited about it. I love Tom Hardy cast as Mad Max, Rockatansky. I think that's a great decision in terms of relevant actors. And I want it to be everything that watching the first three films were to me the first time I saw them. So I hope it's just me being a little jaded and a little jealous that is kind of hedging those reservations.
I'm just a sucker for fast cars, explosions, no thought to plot. That's why I love movies like The Expendables and almost every Arnold movie, just because it's just the cheesiest lines and explosions, and just you don't have to think about it. It's just pure entertainment. That's what it's there for.
And I think it will capture that sense on the very, and maybe it's me being wrong. I somehow drew some deeper meaning out of the Road Warrior than this dude wants gasoline. These people have gasoline. He's got to help them before he gets gasoline. But to me, it's like, my God, that movie spoke to me. Like, I'm probably the idiot here.
It must be something in your subconscious.
Yeah.
Something.
Just that dog, I think it was.
Some deeper meaning from the need for gasoline.
Yeah, I'm just here for the gasoline. Goddamn right you are, Max. Like I hear you, dude. So we've now officially solved that. Not only do we love pets here, we also, one of our hosts this week might have some weird psychological thing going on with Mad Max and or Mel Gibson. So let's just pretend that never happened, and let's talk about Chris Pratt and company and Guardians of the Galaxy, guys. Come on, give it up.
I'm actually going to go see it again tomorrow.
I honestly, after I got done work at 9:00 last night, my girlfriend was at a bachelorette party, and I was like, so do you think anyone would care if I just went hot to the theater and watched it again? Because to me, it had that power that
it definitely did. And we ended up getting a free ticket because we have like one of those Regal reward cards. So I was up to get a free ticket. So we're like, well, we kind of have this free ticket. Let's just go see it again. Let's just do that. So that's what we're gonna do.
I think it'll be just as enjoyable.
Yeah.
Before I pass it over to Justin, because I really want to hear your thoughts on it as, you know, our kind of resident comic book head. Mm-hmm. If you guys have not seen this movie yet, I've told a few people that I've encountered in the last 2 days, like, it is probably the most enjoyable movie experience I've ever had. Like, outside of liking the comics that I've read and stuff like that, like, it generally, you sit there and you're like, holy shit, this is a fun movie on every single level. So I think it's definitely worth the price of admission. And Justin, please let me hear about it.
Well, I think you got it exactly right. I mean, of the Marvel movies that they've done up to Guardians of the Galaxy, it's all characters that everybody knows. Everybody knows Iron Man. Everybody knows Thor. Everybody knows Captain America. Everybody knows the Avengers. And then when they announced Guardians of the Galaxy back in 2012, you just kind of think, why are you picking Guardians of the Galaxy? That's such a weird choice. But you go into this movie, and even me, who reads, you know, an ungodly amount of Marvel and DC books, I think, you know what? I know absolutely about this movie. And the way that they made the movie, you really don't. They lay it all out for you. They introduce all the characters. They tell you exactly why they're doing what they're doing. And it's great.
And that's what I really, really love about this movie is it wasn't 2.5 hours long. It was 2 hours, which is an average nowadays for movies, but there weren't elaborate backstories. You got their introductions when they were being booked in prison, and that was it. And maybe little tidbits here and there. But there was just something about it. I mean, maybe I'm looking at it from a deeper perspective, just from whatever I've been through, but just the fact that a group of individuals who have nothing in common and are brought together by, you know, they've been rejected. I mean, Gamora, you know, hate where she came from and what, you know, she's done, and kind of maybe wants to set things right in her own way. And just Peter Quill, I mean, just how he left his mom, and what's his name, Doc, you know, losing his family. I mean, they've all lost something, and just coming together to like really save the galaxy. I mean, it speaks a lot. I mean, and not a lot of comic book movies have that heart. And Groot, I mean, Groot, geez Louise, I mean, he almost brought me to tears in like that one scene.
Yeah,
that was rough.
No, yeah. That's one of those things where you're glad that you've like maybe read the books or something. You're like, all right, like I'm not freaking out just quite yet as that happens. But somebody go, oh no, please no.
Yeah, I mean, and even with Rocket Raccoon, just, I mean, that one, you know, when he's drunk and he's, you know, talking about what he's been through, and you're just like, oh God, yeah. Like, I just want to hug you. You're not vermin. You're not a rodent.
I want you to be my pet.
Yeah. Like, come be with me. You really feel. And I think it was just well made. I mean, all together. I mean, the writing, the soundtrack.
Gunn,
well, James Gunn, Lollipop Chainsaw. I mean, that's like one
James
of my...
Gunn, Scooby Doo. Like,
yeah, no, for real, yeah. Slither. If you like Slither.
One other thing, like Justin, going back to what you said when, Guardians of the Galaxy is announced in 2012, and it's kind of, an eyebrow raising moment for a lot of people that are maybe a little bit more in the know about Marvel, not only their films, but their comics as a whole, kind of breaking the tradition of doing, you have your classic superheroes, almost if you will, being the stock movie characters. And then Guardians of the Galaxy comes along. And the first thing my girlfriend said upon like leaving the movie as we're getting in the car, and that, she knows nothing about any of the kind of stuff that we sit here and discuss for hours. She says, why didn't they make that years ago? And I think that's a testament to how great the film was as a whole, that someone who has no exposure to comics other than knowing like, yes, the Guardians of the Galaxy are apparently comic book characters. Like that's as much as my girlfriend, love her to death, knows about this shit. She's, why didn't they make that? And she's right. That's the thing. It was that good on so many different levels. Like Anna said, like for 2 hours, whether you know about Gamora and Star-Lord and Rocket from before, or you just met them, you genuinely give a shit about them in 2 hours. I think that it's a testament, and it's fun and it's funny, and there's amazing soundtrack. They did wonderful. I said afterwards, I honestly hope it sets the box office, record. I think it deserves it, and everyone in America should see this movie.
I mean, if it's like if you didn't see the movie this weekend, you cannot be my friend. And I never say things like that. But seriously, if you didn't see it, you can't be my friend. We can't talk. You have to watch it and we'll talk.
In a way, though, I understand why they released Guardians of the Galaxy when they did.
You're right, and it does make sense when you think about it kind of as a whole, so please enlighten.
Well, I mean, you go back to the beginning, and when they started doing the first couple of films, the first couple Iron Man movies, and then Thor and Captain America. Even then, we had Batman Begins, but the superhero movie was not quite in vogue yet. I mean, we kind of had the sour taste of, the last couple of Blade movies.
Let's not talk about X-Men.
X-Men 3, Spider-Man 3, and it's kind of like, all right, they make these superhero films, which are kind of great, but they're just, I don't know, they're not upper echelon type movies. But then as Marvel keeps hitting home runs with these movies, and especially, every movie it seems that comes out, everybody's almost saying that's the best one they've ever done.
Yeah.
Thor Dark World comes out, everybody says, that's probably one of the better ones. Then Captain America Winter Soldier comes out, everyone says that's the greatest one. It's better than the Avengers. And then Guardians of the Galaxy comes out, and everyone says that one's the best one that they've ever done. So I understand why they did it. They kind of have to build this track record and prove that, it doesn't matter who the characters are. We're going to make this competent movie. You're going to understand why the characters have to do what they do. You're going to understand their motivations. You're going to understand kind of the world that we've built for them. And I think that for Guardians, is another one of the strong points for them is they get to build this, cosmic world that they haven't really done in a Marvel movie yet. Everything else has been, based on Earth, although Thor, they go over to Asgard. But with Guardians, it's this huge cosmic landscape. You can make all these different worlds, all these different backdrops, all these different races of characters. And I think this will be a nice precedent to really kind of open the box and let them kind of make the movies they want to make with characters that people might not know about.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's been the best thing about Marvel Studios kind of being on their own is they when making Iron Man, when they first started with Iron Man, they really had the ability to really make the movie that they wanted to make. There weren't really, higher up involved. And yeah, I know everyone, because kind of, not everyone, but almost everyone was up in arms when Disney bought out Marvel. But Disney hasn't really done anything to infringe on what Marvel is doing. If anything, there's more of a financial backing for Marvel to really do what they want to do. I mean, they're and it's just nice to see that, these movies they're well made. They're taking their time making them. They're not really, popping them out like year to year to year. Like just because something's hot doesn't mean you have to get it out of the oven so fast. Let it sit there and, get people really excited for it. So I think it's a nice timeline that they've been doing too. Just like every 2.5 years, 3 years.
I do like kind of the almost, let's say, bi-yearly pacing for like the major releases in it. And it works in the same way, like when you get excited about a game and that there's going to be a sequel or, so on and so forth. It's like, that these people have, a longer period to really make it what you want. And this isn't just saying like for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 side, just Marvel's kind of film universe as a whole. It works out, you see one movie and you're like, holy shit, yes, I cannot wait for them to do it again. You have a little bit of time to kind of stew on it and get more excited. And they do a great job of marketing them too. Like, so kudos to the money being poured into it, and they're clearly making their money back. So I think we're going to see a great upswing here as we continue on.
I mean, Ray is somebody who doesn't really read the comics as much.
Right.
What were your initial thoughts going into this?
I would so I was aware of the film before I started reading the books. And I was genuinely excited because, as I'm sure you guys have all heard me say or seen me type, like I am a big Chris Pratt fan. I think he's tremendous in just about everything I've ever seen him in. I enjoy him as a human kind of thing. So when I saw he was kind of leading this Guardians of the Galaxy movie, it piqued my interest. And the more I kind of became aware of it, I feel the hype train starts rolling, someone shoveling coal into that old engine. And finally I get around, I read it, I fall in love with all the characters in, that 2008 run. And I'm just like, suddenly it's like, this is the movie I want to see. I can already tell, and then finally upon seeing it, like I was so antsy all day. I shifted my work schedule around so I didn't have to work on Friday and I could go see it.
That was me on Friday too.
Yeah,
like, I was
like,
at work.
I don't care about anything else right now. I'm trying to see this movie. I don't want to write today. I don't want to cover entertainment news. Like I want to see this movie. And then finally seeing it, like from the moment the movie starts, I've stick a fork in me. Like I was done. I was just kid in a candy store, jaw on the floor, smiling ear to ear. And then the one thing that really stuck with me after the film was like Lee Pace. My God, I thought he was tremendous as Ronan. And I don't know if you guys watched that show Halt and Catch Fire on AMC.
Well, I know he's on there. I just didn't know the name.
He's like the lead on it, and it is a great show. But as you guys know, he has like a very distinct voice.
Yeah,
and it's almost like off-putting in the context of that show. But to hear it, dressed up a little bit as the character he plays in Guardians of the Galaxy, like it was so good, and it kind of exuded off of him. His performance, you could tell like he was having a blast as this character, I think, and you could say that about everyone in the film. Well, obviously,
and I know, and I don't know her name. All I know is that she was in that movie Oculus, but she shaved her head to play the role of Nebula.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even like a hat or anything on her head. Like she shaved her head.
Yeah, she was like, excited. I'm gonna be Nebula.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
There's so many great things about that movie. Not just the, like the deeper stuff, but the jokes and all that.
We could easily, we could have our own hour-long thing, I think, between us to talk about this. So yeah, listeners, if you have not, for whatever reason, seen Guardians of the Galaxy yet, I'm going to tell you to pause the podcast right now. If you're listening in your car, just drive to your theater. Just go see it. It's worth it. If you don't happen to like it, write me an angry email or something, like vent to me. Tell me why, because I guarantee it probably won't happen.
Yeah, CC me on that, because I would love to hear why you did.
Yeah, and myself.
You know what? We'll send you an angry one back, you idiot. No, yeah, I do think it's one of those things, like it's hard not to like it. It's like when Mambo number 5 came out. You're like, oh, it might not be for you, but my God, you liked it. at the very least.
Well-
There's your bad analogy of the day there.
And try not to have that song stuck in your head now.
Yeah.
But just to I guess close it off on Guardians of the Galaxy, but even before the movie came out, like I knew I was gonna like the movie regardless of what the reviews were, but I have yet to find a bad review of this movie anywhere.
The worst, like if I guess review or rating I've seen of it, Entertainment Weekly gave it an A-. So if you think like academic, I'd say like a 90 is the lowest thing I've seen. I know Matt, our editor-in-chief, he gave it a 100 out of 100.
Yeah.
And I think I probably would have done the same. It's not a perfect movie, but within the context of a film to go see, I think it, A+. Yeah, certainly.
Yep. The fact that they made you care about the Guardians of the Galaxy is just, they've already won.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you got emotional at a CGI free, they got you.
Yeah.
Or a raccoon. They won.
Or not a raccoon, Bradley Cooper as the voice of a raccoon. Like
Yeah.
So clearly, guys, like you can hear, I'm sure we're all smiling at our computer screens as we talk about this right now. It's going to be in theaters for quite some time, I'm sure. So do yourself a favor, see it once, maybe see it twice. And now let's kind of transition. I want to do something a little new here, if that's okay with you guys. Kind of want to bring in a little segment that we're going to call Elevator Pitch. And for those of you who have never had to sell something or pitch an idea to an editor or something like that, it might not be super familiar. But what I want to do, I want to have myself and my two other co-hosts, Anna and Justin, take 30 seconds or a minute, and I want them to sell both the other two of us in this call and the listener, you guys. I want them to sell the idea of whatever they've been very into, be it a movie, a book, a CD. If they've been really into Amazon shopping lately, like, take 30 seconds, take a minute, guys. Tell me about what's, making your week kind of tick right now. Is that okay with everyone?
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyone want to go first, or should I just pick one of you at random?
Well, there is something that I have been completely enamored with, and it is called Marvel Dice Masters.
Okay.
I'm going to preface by saying that this game is absolutely impossible to find in the stores. It's pretty new, and their demand has just been through the roof, and they cannot keep it in stores. But Marvel Dice Masters is kind of like a mix of Magic the Gathering and Quarriors, in that you enlist the help of Marvel superheroes via dice to battle each other. So it combines kind of the combat system of something like Magic the Gathering, as well as different abilities like, say, a hero clicks. And I've been playing the last couple of days, and it's addicting. It's so fun.
Oh,
and the other wrinkle, if you're a little, it's a collectible game. So if you're a little hesitant because you hear the words collectible game, it is extremely affordable when it's going to be more available in stores. It is $15 for a starter set, and booster packs with 2 cards and 2 dice are just $1.
Yeah, that's easy
nice
enough
on the
entry
wallet.
point there. Yeah. And you know what? Thank you for kind of turning us on to that, because I'd never heard of it until just now. So, I mean, as an elevator pitch, you succeeded.
it's one of those games that it's kind of a lot to take in, but as soon as you get into the ebb and flow, it's a lot of fun.
And one more time, what was it called again?
It's called Marvel Dice Masters by WizKids. It's the same company that came out with Quarriors, which is the game it's sort of like, as well as Hero Click.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So I now officially feel okay about elevator pitch being a thing. And Anna, do you have anything for us?
I sure do.
All right, go.
So if you're into anime, and if you are, I'm pretty sure you've seen this, but if you haven't, you need to watch Attack on Titan.
Yes.
I watched it on Netflix. The only problem that I had was you can't dub it in English. And so because I feel like I missed some of the stuff that was going on, I actually went and bought the first part of the show, and it's only like 16 episodes, I think. But it is by far one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen. Animes can always be a little bit on the dramatic side, but this fits in perfectly. So it's all about there's this city in these walls, and there's these titans that they try to break in, and they come after humans. That's their source of food. So there's this super titan that comes and attacks one time, and there's Eren. He's the main protagonist of the show, and he watches his mom get eaten alive by a titan. So that kind of sets him off on this tangent of joining the scout regiment and avenging his mother. And from there on, it just goes into a story that I did not expect, but I am absolutely hooked on this show. I cannot wait for the second season to start, but it's amazing. It's really good.
Yeah, it genuinely is. Attack on Titan. As like an anime, if you think anime is the dumbest idea or whatever you've ever heard, watch it. It'll change your mind. It is so well done. Like you said, Anna, it is on Netflix. I believe it's also on, or some of the episodes are on Cartoon Network.
Yes.
I think on demand even, you can watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, they air on Toonami, and usually that's more like in the late night hours. So anything probably like 11 p.m. on is when you'll be able to catch those if you want to catch them on TV. But I didn't know if it was an anime that was relevant until I did a little bit more research on it. So it's like the first season is already aired, and you can watch it all on Netflix. Again, the only thing is you can't dub it in English if that's, your preference. But it's worth buying. It's worth buying the first season or the first part, because I know the second part of it comes out sometime in September. So I'll definitely be picking that up. But it's so good. It really is.
It's almost kind of like Game of Thrones in a way. Like Attack on Titan's a manga. And I think he wrote or whoever wrote the first part, and they're like, this is a show. Like, we need part 2 better come out soon because we got, we're doing that too. So you can't really equate it to anything. I don't know, no. Justin, have you seen it at all, or are you aware of it? Maybe Anna sold you on it. Then,
I'm going to have to check it out.
It really is so good.
Like seriously, just watch the first episode. My husband's not really into a lot of anime, but he's like, he likes Ghost in the Shell, Full Metal Alchemist, things like that. So I was like, look, just watch it. It's 24 minutes of your time. If you don't like it, that's fine. And he was blown away by it, just by the first episode. So, I mean, if anything, just give it 24 minutes. I won't be mad if you don't like it.
Yeah, and you're not going to get charged by PlayStation for 24 minutes either.
Exactly. No. There we go. Way to tie it together. I guess as we go forward, thank you to both for those. My little item I want to pitch is actually another podcast. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it is the X-Files, a podcast from Kumail Nanjiani, who you might recognize from Silicon Valley, which was just on HBO. Yeah. But the X-Files, it speaks to me as a gigantic X-Files fan, first and foremost. And essentially what it is, it's an hour, maybe hour and a half podcast of just Kumail and a guest talking about episodes of the X-Files. And he, as the host, has done an exceptional job at researching every little detail from Chris Carter, like the X-Files creator, like what he thought of each given episode or the show as a whole, to little, funny insight into what both Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny thought about a given episode or a given monster. And it's fun, and it gives me that feeling that I genuinely hope the three of you people who are listening to this podcast right now can get from us. Like, it's great to hear someone talk about shit they genuinely love. And that shines through in the X-Files. And even if you're not a fan of the show, you probably won't get a lot of it, but just to hear someone be that excited about something, it's powerful. And maybe we give you that special feeling inside, podcast listeners at large. At least I hope so.
I agree.
Cool. I mean, really, we've talked about a lot of stuff today, guys. So thank the both of you for kind of hanging in there. I think we're getting to that point where we might as well start winding down. Any last words or anything we missed? Anyone want to go over?
Go see Guardians of the Galaxy. If you
Yes, go see Guardians.
Yeah. And I'll third that one. Go see Guardians, guys. All right. So as we close it down, once again, thank you everyone for listening. I've been your host that has the smallest bladder. My name is Ray, and you can find me on Twitter at Wu-Tang Clam. And say goodbye, everyone. Take your time.
Oh, ladies
But
first.
I don't
Anna.
want to say goodbye.
Yeah, well, then say goodbye for the next 7 to 14 days.
You can follow me on Twitter at Febzilla. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think I've pretty much I've said everything that I can possibly say.
This is the most we've ever heard Anna talk in our 11 episodes. So
yeah, it feels kind of
get
nice.
used to it. We like the change. And Justin, thanks again for coming on. I hope we can have you for more of these now, man.
Always plenty to talk about. And make sure to go over to the website, entertainmentbuddha.com, because there have been so many things that we're so excited to talk about from the things that we discussed in the podcast, like PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, Guardians of the Galaxy, Comic-Con. There's always just so much stuff that we just love talking about over at entertainmentbuddha.com.
I don't even have to say the website name again. Justin hit it there. But once again, everyone, thank you so much. Thanks for listening. We are a small portion of the growing staff at entertainmentbuddha.com, and it's been a blast talking together. I hope it's been a blast for you guys to listen. And head on over to the site, listen to the cast, and we'll be back talking sooner than you can possibly imagine. Have a good week, Internet.
Absolutely.